future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
You are tuned in to Better Late Than Never. Take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon or when my guest gets here. And then every Thursday at 7, Saturday at 1 on my syndicated CNBC, NBC News Radio channel, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and then every day somewhere on iHeartRadio. And this is a show about hope and happiness, so there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K-words, no Kardashian talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And a quick piece shout out to all my fabulous CEO Space grads and fellow faculty and founder CEO, the Dormans, for a fantastic week in Florida. My first keynote got 99% incredible reviews. Sheshe. And so I have to practice what I teach with that one ugly is just release it. And thanks to faculty member Cheryl Snap Connor, I am now in Forbes magazine. Yes, just published on Sunday night. Thank you very much. Hot off the press. So if you're a solo entrepreneur or a solopreneur, go check it out. I'm getting a lot of great love for that. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Peace in and peace out. And an excellent customer service to Lawrence on Delta Airlines and my seatmates coming back from Orlando. Also Spencer at Guitar Center. My new Sennheiser microphone worked fabulously on the red carpet Sunday at the Jump, Jive, and Thrive event. Thanks to publicist Joanne Geffen. Peace in, peace out. I got invited to cover and interview cancer survivors, thrivers, and performers for the show. Grammy and Oscar winner Melissa Etheridge I got to interview. Olympic gold medalist gymnasts Shannon Miller and Lori Hernandez, UCLA NCAA six-time champion coach Miss Val, and Fran Drescher. And she'll be coming on my show next week for the second time to talk about trashing cancer and the Health Summit. Since it is National Breast Cancer and Cancer Awareness Month in October, we are highlighting that next week as well. And I'll be sharing all of my interviews on that show, so don't miss it. And now, for today's show, she's well worth the wait. My sister from Agape, born in Ghana, Akuyoe Graham is an actor, writer, and spiritual counselor. She's the founder of Spirit Awakening Foundation, an arts organization that mentors incarcerated children, at-risk foster, and runaway youth. Akuyoe tours nationally with her critically acclaimed one-woman play, Spirit Awakening, and can be seen in numerous commercials, independent films, and TV shows. She's the author of The Little Book of Transformation and the play Spirit Awakening. She's a beautiful soul. I'm grateful to have known her, and we kind of travel in the same little circles at Agape and beyond, and I'm proud to call her my sister. You can actually, you'll probably recognize her as soon as we flash her on. She's been on NCIS. She's been on Ben and Ara, Danica, and a whole host of commercials and TV programs and movies. And the beautiful, great reason why we got to wait for her is she just got cast in a lead. So without further ado, please welcome to the studio, Akuyoe Graham.
Dr. Marissa, you are so kind and gracious. And I just want to thank you so much, really.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, she had to do wardrobe unplanned. She didn't know she was going to be cast as the star. Can you talk about it? One of the stars.
Yes.
Can you say what show it is or no? Not yet.
I can't say too much. Yeah, these days, everything has an NDA. So, and I think they're doing that so they can control the narrative.
Okay, what's an NDA?
A non-disclosure agreement. Yes, but
right,
I'm
right.
really excited about this film. I can say that it's inspired by the film noir Laura, which is one of my all-time favorite films.
Oh.
And in fact, one of the leads is her character is called Laura. So I'm playing captain of a police precinct, which I've never done before. So I'm really, but she's sexy. So.
Love it.
I know.
The sexy side of you. There's the spiritual and the spiritual sexy side of you. Yes.
Sexy cop.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And I actually wanted to have you here because you could just be doing acting and
Yes.
just do acting, and that's a full-time
right.
job, and you love doing it and you're good at it. But what happened that you moved from acting to this entire, which has taken over your life?
It sure has.
Right?
It
So
really
take me
has.
back to that.
Well, actually, Dr. Marissa, it happened when I'd moved to Los Angeles, and I was working quite a bit. I was cast in a TV film, then another TV film. Series and commercials, and I remember going to my apartment, and I wasn't even at Agape then. I wasn't a licensed spiritual counselor, but I just sat there and I thought, well, and I said to myself out loud, well, God, is this it? What? I'm just going to become famous and make money? Really? I want more. That's a true story. I just
Wow.
felt like I knew there was more for me to contribute in my life. And you're right, I love acting.
Yeah.
And so right on the heels of uttering, I guess, what was a prayer, really.
Yes.
I had an opportunity to mentor incarcerated juveniles. I didn't even know that there was a whole system of incarcerated children. Did not know anything about it at all. And I started with poetry, and the work just blew me away. I was so moved by the children that were entrusted to my care in the classes, and they really took to the program, and it just blossomed to becoming now a whole foundation where I've trained other artists to teach the Spirit Awakening program.
Right.
And we go into the juvenile facilities, we go into schools. It's both an intervention and a prevention program, trying to help those that have been involved in gang activity or in violent activities and prevent others from, doing those kinds of things.
Right. So I'm going to put the moose on the table, which is my Canadian version of talking about the elephant in the room.
Yes.
So, and this is not, and anyone that knows me knows that I'm not actually thinking this or saying this, but there are people who are saying to you, why don't you focus on healthy children or healthy kids? Why are you focusing your attention on kids who knew right from wrong and chose the wrong, and they are just living the consequences of their choices? What do you
Sure.
say to that?
I would say first and foremost, we work with
I'm sorry. I'm like, it tastes so bad just saying
I know,
it.
right?
Ugh, okay, sorry.
However, we know that, some people do feel that way.
Right.
And I can understand, So first I want to say we work with all children. Our program, you don't have to be incarcerated or to have committed a crime to go on a spiritual quest, if you will, to discover your true self. The requirements are not criminal activity.
Right.
What I will say, though, is that my focus and the focus of the organization has been children that have been neglected and abused, children in the foster care system, children who don't have the kinds of support that other children may have.
Yes.
And one of the things we love to do actually is each year for the past 5-6 years, the Esalen Institute in Big Sur has been incredibly generous and supportive of our work, and they allow us to bring up to about 15 kids there once a year on a retreat.
Wow.
And so when we do those retreats, we take children that are doing very well. Some have never got into trouble, thank goodness.
Yeah.
And those who have got into trouble, we take them, we mix them up.
Yeah.
And unless the child tells you, this is my background, you wouldn't know to look at the two. You just wouldn't know. And that's because, we all need a safe space to express, to be who we are, to be acknowledged, to be seen and to be heard, And so this work does reach out to children that have never done any criminal activity. And to that, I want to say, some of the children really are not aware of what they're doing. They are children.
Yes.
And some of them are imitating what they've seen.
Correct.
I dare to even go further, Dr. Marissa, and say this country, has a lot of violent history. When you look at the TV shows, any number of them, which I enjoy watching,
Right.
but at the end of each episode, most of the time, especially if it's a police drama, how do they resolve everything? Through violence.
Right. Right.
It's always resolved through violence.
Right.
As if violence resolves anything.
Right.
And it really
And it
doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter, when she was 11, said, "How do you get to peace through war? I don't
Hello.
understand it.
Wow.
I don't understand it." Yeah.
What a great question.
It wasn't.
And she's right.
Yeah.
But if this is what we're setting up for children,
Yeah.
if this is what we're saying is the example, and then they imitate us, then,
Yes.
why are we complaining? They're doing
Right.
exactly what they see
Right.
the
Right.
adults around them
Right.
do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the system is broken.
Yes.
It is not a fair system.
That's
I
right.
just saw this video. Someone sent it to me on YouTube, and this brilliant guy had this. He said, "I have $100 bill. Race whoever gets to me first.
Yes.
Gets the $100 bill." And then he goes, "Before you start, I want to ask you a series of questions.
Yes.
How many of you come from a 2-parent home? Take a step forward. How many of you went to a paid-for school?
Take a
Step
step.
ahead." And then, by the end of all those questions, he goes, "Do you recognize that this is not a fair start? Do you recognize? And look at the people who are behind you. Look at the people who are not as close. Is it really? How
Yes.
can you say
That's right.
that everybody has an equal fair chance?
That's right.
They don't. If you're a child and you grow up with violence, with abuse, with neglect, with abandonment,
That's
and then there's a solution for you, which is called a gang, where they provide
Yeah.
you with a family
That's
or
right. With
love,
community.
with a
Yes.
community, then why wouldn't you, as a child,
That's
make
right.
those kinds of decisions?
That's right.
How can you say that children who grow up being told they are worthless and useless, and it's 7 out of 10 kids are in
right.
some kinds, how can you say that they don't pick up something
That's right.
that will continue that broken track? How can you say
right.
exactly what I just said earlier, that it's about your choices and
Yes.
consequences? Children don't have that kind of fair, level playing ground. So good for you and what you're doing and what you've decided to do with you're my favorite kind of actor. Fran Dresser's another one, who takes their limelight and uses it as a flashlight
That's right.
to shine into the darkness and to help out people. So for that, I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award.
I gratefully accept. Well,
Yes.
my feeling is, Dr. Marissa, I've been given so much. Even just today, your graciousness, your gift that you're giving to me, I've been given so much. So how could I not give back? Dr. Michael Beckwith always says, living from the overflow.
Yes.
And I really can say I get to live from the overflow, and I'm so grateful.
Yes.
So it's the least I can do.
Yes.
The opportunities that have been given me, the people who have supported me, my dreams, and things I love to do. Again, coming on your show, you heard about it and you were like, okay, you coming on my show.
Yeah, I wanted
it was so it was
Absolutely.
beautiful. So
Oh.
how could I not take that
Yeah.
and give back?
Yeah.
I've been given so much.
Yes, and since you mentioned the M word or the R word, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, who is my big brother, your big
Yes,
brother, we're
yes.
sisters by that, and he actually was intending to come on.
Yes.
And at first, humble as he is, he's
Isn't
like,
he?
I'm getting honored in
That's
your
right.
program. That's embarrassing to come on, but I just wanted him to come on because he is so beloved and he does do such good work. He's the living, example for us.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
To live in our fullest, to live
Absolutely.
from the overflow,
That's right.
to shine our light and not
Yes.
to put it under any kind of bushel.
That's
No
right.
way in heaven.
That's
And
right.
so peace in, peace out. I know he was speaking at Howard University. He's got a
Yes.
super booked schedule, but his intention was to come on and
Ah.
support you and to shed a little light. I think we did a pretty good job. And when he sees us later, hopefully he'll say yes.
That's right.
As far as why we need to balance
Yes.
these things out. I mean, that's what it is. We want to
That's right.
provide balance for kids who did not get a fair start.
That's
who
right.
did not get
That's right.
a show or an environment of unconditional love, or
Absolutely.
even a little conditional,
Right? Even a little bit.
little bit of conditional.
Yes.
So tell me about your program. So you are, what date? What's it called? I'll let you do
Sure.
all of this.
Voices of the Unheard is our flagship event, which we do every year. And we've started doing this at Agape Spiritual Center in Culver City here in Southern California. And it's on a Saturday. This year, it's Saturday, October 28th at 2 p.m. And what it is a series of performances, spoken word, dance, and music. And we take the written pieces written by incarcerated children right now, children that have been in the Spirit Awakening program. And then these pieces are interpreted maybe sometimes as a dance piece or a musical selection. And they are read. Reverend Michael is always one of our actors. We have guest artists that come and read these pieces written by the children, along with formerly incarcerated now young adults that have come through the system and have been a part of our program as well. It's a really beautiful event because it sheds light. And it's an opportunity for people to show up and support the lives of children that are really trying hard to turn their lives around,
Right,
and
right.
to do the right thing now,
Right.
because they now know that love is present and love is available for them specifically. So oftentimes people will ask me, well, how can I help? And I show up.
Yeah.
Be a surrogate stand-in for a child,
Yeah.
who may not have the family unit.
Right.
I remember in some schools, sometimes I show up as a parent,
Right.
as a grandparent,
Right.
standing in. If you've ever been to some of the probation facilities, sometimes Sundays is usually the visiting day. And one of the saddest things I think is, to see a 14-year-old child who's incarcerated and no one's coming to visit them. Children just want to be loved.
Right,
They just
right,
want to be
right,
loved, like
right,
all of us.
Right.
You
right.
know.
So if you
and
have time on your hands, I think this is a great.
It would be wonderful.
Just go adopt someone and show up on
That's
probation
right.
days just to greet them.
That's right.
I know a bunch of people who have time on their hands.
That's
and,
right.
And that would make a difference. And just not just for the fundraising aspect of showing up, but think of what a child
Yes.
who is now in a performance, kids who go to school and they have a school performance.
Yes.
What would that feel like to know that you came for them
That's right.
to sit and watch their heart being
That's right.
expressed through their poetry and their dance?
That's
that would be
right.
the gift. It's not so much the paying the ticket.
That's
It's
right.
showing
up.
up
That's right.
to that. So Saturday, October the 28th.
Yes.
At what time?
2 p.m.
2 p.m. in the afternoon. So you can still have your Saturday night date night. So,
right.
or you can start it early at 2 p.m., right?
Yes,
And it's at the
absolutely.
Agape International Spiritual Center that's
Yes.
in Culver City. So anyone from Southern California has no excuse
That's
on how
right.
to go. What would you say for these kids, the most meaningful words or the most meaningful impact has been for them? I mean, you get first line, what has this work done for them?
Well, I have a quote actually, which I love. One of our young women, Hunter, beautiful child. I met her at a probation facility, and she was serving her time. Now she's out. She's part of our mentoring program. She's one of our peer mentors. I've met her mother. And Hunter said something. She said, there's all this attention when they're locked up. And but oftentimes when they leave, there's no more support. So she feels that support, the aftercare, is the most important. And what she actually said, Dr. Marissa, is, I didn't need to be locked up and scared and scared into doing good.
Right.
I needed a circle of care and love, and that is what Spirit Awakening has provided for me.
Oh, beautiful.
It just so
Beautiful.
touched my heart because That's what we want to be there. We want to be there for those kids that perhaps fall through the cracks, the ones that maybe the school system just doesn't work for them the way it's structured.
Right.
And not all of us learn the same way.
Right.
And so we want to be that place where they can come and feel safe to be able to express what's in their hearts, to be able to not only express their feelings, but to meet with wonderful guest speakers and people. And I want you to be one of them, Dr. Marissa. To meet really cutting edge, brilliant people that are creative and dynamic and live a very artistic life. That's what we want to inspire in these children. And in fact, our director of special projects, Megan, was telling me that the founder of Patagonia stores, was saying that if you're looking for innovation and some bright ideas, speak to kids in juvenile hall. And he's absolutely right, because through their actions, these children are telling us the status quo doesn't work for me.
Right.
We know that, and they're acting out. When you're acting out, you want attention, you want to say something.
Right.
And it's not that we agree with what they're doing.
Right.
They need to be taught how to communicate in a way that's not criminal or doesn't hurt other people or themselves.
Absolutely.
Yet the energy, you're a doctor, it's all energy, right?
Absolutely.
And so if they can learn how to channel that energy in a way that's effective, that's creative, that's imaginative, it's the same energy. It just needs to be used differently.
Balance.
It needs to be balanced.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. Well, beautiful. And the thing that struck me in speaking to some of the people who are doing activists and people who are trying to balance things out, that Black Lives Matter, all lives matter.
That's
but
right.
there's definitely a solution to the imbalance in the system.
Yes.
So just the same way as you were saying, when they come out and there's the attention's gone, negative or positive, that there's such a high rate of recidivism. I can never say that word right. But that's it.
It's a hard word.
Because, it would make sense when they, as children, also come out. They have a record, so it's hard for them to get a job. They've learned communication habits that are not useful.
Yep.
And then why not go back in where they were hot?
That's right. Yeah.
So it is a system.
That's right.
That requires a system solution.
Absolutely.
So the first step is showing up at the event, so
That's
that
right.
how many kids are going to be performing?
We'll have about 10 or so.
10 or so.
Yeah.
Okay. So those 10 kids are counting on you to show up.
That's right.
And then
And there'll be lots in the audience too.
right. I'm wondering. I bet if I Googled organizations that go into probations for visitation, there's probably someone out there. And if not,
That's
I'm
right.
sure you can grow
They
one.
can, yes, that's right.
I have an
Actually,
arm to do that. I know that
yes.
Agape has a prison ministry
That's right.
system, but
That's right.
I think the best is if you are a loan officer out there right now, or you are an HR, and you're a person who hires or
That's
makes those
right.
or loans for housing. I want you to be really, really cognizant that the system is not fair. And even though you may not be biased,
Yes.
many of the people selecting for people to win that $100 bill on
Yes.
the race have biases. And so you have to really, it's not about quotas, but it's about balancing out a system that is imbalanced.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
thank you for saying that,
Yeah.
Dr. Marissa,
Yeah.
to give these young people an opportunity
Yes.
and a chance.
Yes.
So that there's a big thing now to get us to take off that box that you have to check. Have you ever been convicted of a felon, when you apply for employment? Because if you do say yes, oftentimes people will just throw your
Right.
application
Right.
away.
Right.
And I know for sure we have some brilliant minds that are,
Yes.
locked up. And once they
Yes.
come out, that mind is still brilliant.
Yes.
I know
Yes.
because I work with these children.
Yes.
And sometimes what they say, it's like your daughter, when she asked you that question, children are
They know.
amazing.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
really are.
Yeah.
And I think as a society, we can do a better job of really respecting children,
Yes.
respecting their ideas and what they
Yes.
have to say.
Mhm.
You know, they're not just cute and lovable.
Right.
You know, they
Right.
actually have something to contribute,
Absolutely.
even at such a young age.
Absolutely.
They really do.
Absolutely. We're out of time, and it's too bad. But I mean, we said what we needed to say. You need to show up on October the 28th for Spirit Awakening at the Agape International Spiritual Center. Please do support Akuyo's work. I do this on the show all the time, where I bring people who are worthy of support because they are the leaders leading a movement. There's, you know, if you're currently temporarily out of work and you have time on your hands, this is a great organization to go and offer your services and offer your time and offer your hands and offer your heart. So that is it for today's show. I am thank you so much, Akuyo, for coming on, and bless you for all that you do.
Thank you so much,
Oh,
Dr.
one quick
Marissa.
question. Who do you think? I always ask my guests who they would like, one person that you're grateful to.
Oh, Reverend Michael.
Okay.
Thank you.
Easy hand
Reverend
down.
Michael,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
definitely.
absolutely. And the other thing is, I love, you know, you embody this your work. So you're from Ghana. I got to
Yes.
visit Ghana in 2010. I was with Reverend Michael and
Oh, and Brother
and,
Ishmael.
and brother Ishmael Tete and
Yes.
my other brother. And when I asked both of them separately, who's the bigger brother of mine, they both pointed at each other, which I thought was really funny. But Ghana means with God.
Yes.
And I just loved that country because you could tell in the energy.
That's right.
And on it is such a solid place.
Yes, it is.
You
I
know,
agree.
You know, and
Yes.
balancing out the start of the slave trade
Yes.
with the freedom from slavery.
That's
I
right.
just love that. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Peace in, peace out to Ghana.
Yes.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dr. Marissa.
And we'll get you your pictures. And we'll have a very quick balance bar at the end of the show. The Asian Oprah giveaway is actually 2 books. It is Akuyoe Graham's Little Book of Transformation and a book of student writings called Voices of the Unheard. If you would like a copy of that, one of each of those books, please go to forbalance.org, fill out my contact form, and I will get those books to you. Today is day 10 on the 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa. I don't have time to do the tip, so go on Dr. Marissa. Make sure you give me a thumbs up, and you'll get the daily tip there. And join me at Soldier Field in Chicago for Journey's Dream. It is an event highlighting mental health and supporting and all those organizations that do so. I'm grateful that I got asked to participate in that. And so if you are a listener in the Chicago area, please go to journeysdream.org and volunteer for that. If you'd like to have your product or service highlighted with me, having a commercial sale till the end of the year, 30-second commercial for only $280. So very affordable. Hope and happiness, whatever it is, I'd love to help you out with that. You can help keep this show alive. Next week, I am. Oh, and then one more picture was my sailing buds. I'm doing the regatta this weekend. So I'm with the Long Beach women's sailing team. So wish us luck at the Lemwad, the Memorial One Design Women's Regatta. So that's this coming weekend. Also, next week, you are going to be blessed with a second showing of Fran Drescher. I'm actually going to show her little mini interview that I had on the pink carpet at UCLA on Sunday with the Jump, Jive, and Thrive. That is also going to be aired on CBS October 21st, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But next week, I will start the show with Fran and then be showing all of my interviews with Shannon Miller and Lori Hernandez, U.S. Olympic gold gymnastics, and then Melissa Etheridge, Grammy and Oscar Award-winning country singer, and more. So tune in next week for a show about hope and happiness. Take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa Pay. That's P for positive, E-I. And remember, it's all about balance. Peace in and peace out.